Yes, yes, yes. One of the things I like to do, well, many things now, starting to add that nice flow, that nice smooth intro flow. I want to thank everyone for chiming in as people begin to come in. We're going to have an adult conversation. I'm live on Twitch, I'm live on YouTube, and I'm live on Rumble. All three platforms I'm live. You know, these past few days has been very, very interesting, and it has me in a place. It has me quiet. Have y'all ever been in that place where the Ruach Kokodesh, the Holy Spirit, has you quiet? That's the place that I'm in. One of my brothers, Big Pete, sent a special prayer out to him. Get well soon, King. Never be afraid to tell your loved ones you love them and you miss them. Don't wait until they have transitioned for you to express that. You should be able to express that while your peoples is living and here breathing. And pray for me as well. And I'm preparing. I'm preparing for a shift, and I'll say that, and I'll leave it at that. But let's move forward here to the whole situation with Malcolm Jamal Warner. Many of y'all may know now of him transitioning. Some say it was drowning, some say others. Those that know me and follow this channel know that when it comes to a situation, I hear things or I see things, I look into it. I look into things. I do my research. I don't just go by hearsay. I don't go by what individuals say. I look into it because you don't never know. However, when certain things are done after the smoke clears, there's going to be some truth coming out. There's going to be some hidden things. There's going to be some people here and there sprinkling conversation and saying things here and there. So we're going to tap into this thing here. Individuals have something to say. I have something to say. And then the spirit of the universe is going to take us home. So without further ado, grab your shoulder pads and your helmet and let's get this work. All right? Hustle motivation.
Warriors who couldn't stand each other, praying together before battle. Every week for 4 years, Malcolm Jamal Warner and Eddie Griffin put aside their personal differences to fight a war most people didn't even know was happening.
There is a systematic effort to destroy every black male entertainer's image. They want us all to have an actress by name.
For over a decade, Eddie Griffin has been screaming about Hollywood's war against black men who refuse to submit.
Whatever happened to integrity, man, huh? How many brothers gotta wear?
Eddie exposed the systematic emasculation program, but nothing he predicted could have prepared him for what happened to his former co-star on July 20th, 2025.
The actor Malcolm Jamal Warner, widely known for starring in the hit TV sitcom The Cosby Show, has died.
When Eddie Griffin heard his old co-star was dead, he didn't post some generic RIP message. He dropped a bombshell on Instagram that exposed exactly what killed Malcolm Jamal Warner.
The actor Malcolm Jamal Warner, widely known for starring in the hit TV sitcom The Cosby Show, has died.
He wrote, "My heart is heavy today, for what the world lost was a father, a son, a poet, a musician, an actor, a teacher, a writer, a director, a friend, a warrior, that I had the pleasure of going to war with against the Hollywood machine, and sometimes with each other because that's what brothers do. But the love was and is always there.
And what we like to speak on is the industry. The industry in so many ways can destroy you, make you or destroy you, however you choose to take it. And in this sense here, you find yourself at war with the industry. You find yourself at war with individuals that you're not on the same page with. And when you are not on the same page with those individuals, then they have a way to assassinate your character. See, Malcolm Jamal Warner, he was at odds with the industry because he was doing his thing. He was at work. He was getting it. But like we've all said, or like it has always been said, when we ask you to do something and you don't do it, we're going to assassinate your character. Then we're going to make this look like an accident. Let's continue the feast.
Eddie didn't say they worked in Hollywood. He said they went to war against it. That's not the language you use for show business disputes. That's military terminology. That's what you say when someone dies fighting an enemy. The war started during Malcolm and Eddie. Both men thought they were getting a platform to create positive black entertainment. Instead, they walked into a battlefield where every script was a fight. Every episode was resistance against a system designed to make them perform like trained monkeys.
So it was, for me, it was like going from a top university to junior college. Because I'm saying, look, we can actually be funny without doing the stereotypical stuff. And no one was really interested in that route. They're like, we didn't bring you over here for that. This is what we do.
Malcolm wasn't describing creative differences.
But hold on, though. Hold on. That's almost like what Cat Williams was saying when they was on the set of Next Friday. When they was on the set of Next Friday, certain scripts that they already had, it's like, wait a minute. If you let me change this and make it more comical, it would take the place of what you've already originally put in the script. Come on now. So what ended up happening was, instead of being seen or being taken as a fool or a monkey or you know, the dance around puppet, paraphrasing, why don't we switch it up and we do this? In parentheses, he's already telling you, we didn't bring you over here for that. We brought you over here specifically for this. And you gonna do what we tell you to do. If you don't do what we tell you to do, there's gonna be repercussions and consequences. The choice is yours.
He was describing psychological warfare. They took America's favorite TV son and tried to force him to degrade himself for their entertainment. When he refused, the machine turned against him.
Even though we were at odds, what we both understood is we get to 100 episodes, we're going to have a sweet vacation deal. Ultimately, they cut us at 88. Because they were tired. They were tired of me fighting with the writers, and then they were tired of Eddie's shenanigans.
88 episodes, just 12 away from generational wealth.
How many people peeped that out? How many of y'all peeped that out? Did you peep it out? Y'all not budging. Y'all not doing what we telling you to do. You're not bending over. You're standing your ground. Okay.
Through syndication, they killed the show because Malcolm and Eddie wouldn't stay in their place. The machine doesn't just control your image, it controls your money, your future, your ability to build independent wealth. That's when both men learned the rules of engagement. You can fight, but you can't win. You can resist, but there's always a bigger weapon they can deploy. And if you become too dangerous, if you start exposing too much truth, the machine has a final solution.
If you continue to keep running your mouth, we're going to silence you. And that's basically what was happening. You know, Malcolm Jamal Warner was speaking. He was doing it he was speaking subliminal. But individuals were still catching it. When you look at Michael Jackson, when you look at Prince, when you look at certain people that spoke, I'm going to keep it a bean with you. Even Hulk Hogan started speaking. Very few caught that. Very few caught that. Hulk Hogan started going against the grain, especially when he got saved and he got baptized. See, people, you have to pay attention. And when I'm hearing individuals on social media, you know, when I'm hearing this great division between man and woman, especially black men and black women, I'm like, dude, do y'all fucking get it? Y'all must don't get it. The division to destroy blackness. So they can have the black man go against the black woman and so forth and annihilate each other. The machine ain't got to do nothing. They just sit back, smoke a fatty, drink a cold one. I'm going to let these niggas do it theyself. I'm going to let them kill theyself off. I'm going to let them hurt theyself. Let them damage theyself. There's going to be so much chaos within the black community. Oh, this is circus. It's a circus act. Watch this. I'm going to come up with an app called the T app. And watch this. I'm going to let them go at it. Look what has happened. Look what has happened, people. They sitting back laughing at a large number of black men and women destroy each other. Let's continue.
Eddie Griffin has been screaming about Hollywood's systematic destruction of black men for over a decade. His comedy specials weren't just jokes, they were intelligence reports from inside the war zone. This was Eddie exposing the systematic emasculation of black men in Hollywood. Every major black male star has worn a dress on screen. It's not coincidence, it's conditioning. Break down their masculinity, make them perform degradation, then reward them with money and fame. But Eddie's most chilling prediction came when he talked about Bill Cosby. Years before the allegations went mainstream, Eddie was warning that no black entertainer gets to leave Hollywood with their dignity intact.
Not one. Not one. They trying to say things about Denzel Washington. But honestly, what can you say about Denzel Washington? Not a damn thing. You see? It's just like a gang. You join a gang, one way out when you join a gang. Either you take a life or your life will be taken. That's the only way out the gang. Well, selling your soul to the industry, that's basically what individuals have done. You ain't walking away so smoothly. But this is the price you pay when you do that. So a large number of individuals have chosen to go independently in the entertainment industry. Has it ever dawned on you? Has it ever dawned on you in the sports field, especially football? A lot of cats are retiring after 3 years. Just really sit back and do the math and really sit back and reflect on it. How many athletes have retired? Because they know. I know how that inside goes. When other individuals do not know how that inside goes. But once again, when it comes to the industry, that's a big gamble. You're playing Russian roulette. You rolling a dice. And if you don't do what they say, you're going to crap out.
Eddie wasn't making predictions. He was reading the playbook. Michael Jackson, Bill Cosby, Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan. Every black man who achieved independent power and influence got hit with career-destroying scandals. The timing is never accidental.
Reason number one, why they came after Bill Cosby.
If a black man does something, it says, John Jones, blacklist, said black, black, black. Now, if a white man does it, it isn't white man Jones, it's just a man.
Eddie was exposing the media manipulation that creates different rules for black and white celebrities. When white stars face scandals, they're individuals. When black stars face the same issues, they become proof of racial stereotypes. This psychological warfare was designed to keep black entertainers compliant through fear.
Keyword, fear. Fear. COVID-19, fear. If you don't take the berry punch, you're going to lose your job. Fear. Things are about fear. Have you ever noticed how much peace an individual has when they go independently? So what do you mean? Take, for example, Eddie Griffin. Take, for example, Corey Holcomb. Two amazing comedians, funny comedians. They don't need to sign no contract with nobody. They have a large following. So they're going to sell out arenas. They're going to sell out halls and ballrooms. You might as well add Cat Williams to that. They're going to sell out. They're going to sell out a show. You see? It's so much better when you go independently. And look what happens. Here come Netflix. Coming to make a deal. Let's do it. And that's what the industry, that's what the machines don't like. when you don't need them and you have options. It's kind of like that relationship. Y'all know, when you let a modern feminist 99-cent mop bucket pirate, spider monkey, moon crooked know that you have options, she get mad. Oh yeah, she get mad. When you let the Makitas and the Shaquitas know that you got options, they get mad. Same thing, same effect. Okay, we're gonna assassinate your character. We're gonna take your past and use it against you to silence you or get you back in line. What you think what they doing to Puff Daddy right now? P. Diddy, same damn thing. Now a large number of individuals are starting to catch it now. But before, y'all didn't catch it. Let's continue to feast.
But Malcolm Jamal Warner stopped being afraid, and that's when the machine moved to its final phase. Something changed in Malcolm Jamal Warner during his final year. The man who had carefully navigated Hollywood politics for decades started speaking truth to power with reckless abandon. His Instagram became a weapon of war against the psychological programming Eddie had been exposing.
I am tired of running for shade. And aren't you tired of being hustled and played?
This the one right here. This was the one. I said, I shared with a couple of colleagues of mine, when you start speaking out, you're going to rattle some cages. And a large number of individuals do not like it when you rattle their cages, because when you rattle their cages, you expose. And when he released this, see, now it's starting to make sense. It wasn't the fact that he drowned. That's what they wanted to tell you. That's what they want you to know, because they don't really want you to know the real truth. We want to tell you something, and the very thing that we tell you, you have to believe it. I'm going to let that marinate.
And aren't we all tired of crying about how hard it is to be black in America, even if it looks like we've got it made?
This wasn't poetry. This was Malcolm directly calling out the systematic programming of Black Americans. The music we're programmed to celebrate. He was exposing how the entertainment industry deliberately promotes degrading content to condition Black audiences. Traits placed upon them by their captors.
I want y'all to go on YouTube, go to Erykah Badu's video, Window Seat. She did a song called Window Seat. I want y'all to watch that video, because she got criticized for that video. Not just because, she stripped naked, but it was the meaning behind it. She was sending a message. See, that's the thing. I mean, can we continue to trace it back? Can we trace it back to Whitney Houston? Speaking out. Trace it back to Prince, Michael Jackson, speaking out. Even Hulk Hogan spoke out. I want to see how many people gonna catch that. Okay.
He was naming the puppet masters who control the narrative. The timing couldn't have been worse for Hollywood, with Diddy facing federal charges, with Jeffrey Epstein connections finally being exposed, with systematic corruption being investigated at the highest levels. Malcolm Jamal Warner was positioning himself as a credible witness to decades of psychological warfare. His final video shows a man who knew he was living on borrowed time.
You know, life is out here lifing. right? For me and for everybody else. But
I just did this. I just did this in my tribute. Go and watch it. I'm telling you. Confirmation. Confirmation. And what is the very thing that I always tell my audience? You watch body language and facial micros. They speak 1,000 words. They paint the picture. Facial micros, body language, paint the picture. So what do you mean? It's obvious he knew. When you sign your soul to the devil, to the industry, you already know you on borrowed time. Your number's gonna be called. Your name's gonna be called. You can't escape from it. It's gonna be what it's gonna be. It's gonna go how it's gonna go. And there ain't nothing you can do to stop it because you signed up for it. Okay.
I just wanted to remind you, as I remind myself, that no matter what's going on, there's always a reason to smile.
Malcolm was acknowledging that forces beyond his control were determining his fate. The forced positivity, the desperate attempt to find reasons to smile, the promise that I'll be back soon. This was a man saying goodbye without being able to say goodbye. 3 days later, he was dead in the waters off Costa Rica, officially ruled an accidental drowning. No witnesses, no foul play, just another tragic loss that permanently silenced a truth-teller who had become too dangerous to the machine. Eddie Griffin's warning about black entertainers never leaving the business clean wasn't theoretical. He was documenting a pattern that would eventually consume his friend, Malcolm Jamal Warner. Eddie wasn't just defending Bill Cosby. He was exposing the systematic timing and methodology behind character assassination campaigns targeting powerful black men in entertainment. In this explosive interview, Eddie methodically deconstructed the Cosby allegations, pointing out how they followed a predictable pattern designed to maximize psychological and financial damage. Eddie highlighted the suspicious timing, how decades-old accusations surfaced precisely when Cosby was at his peak influence, attempting to buy NBC and regain control over his creative legacy. He questioned the logic behind the accuser's stories, asking why women would voluntarily enter private hotel rooms with a married man whose family-focused public image was internationally known, then wait 30 years to report alleged assaults. But Eddie's real bombshell was connecting this to a broader systematic effort. He wasn't focused on Cosby's guilt or innocence. He was documenting how the entertainment machine deploys coordinated media campaigns to destroy black entertainers.
Assassinate your character. A lot of times they'll bring up your past and use it against you. Kind of like that relationship. They'll tell everything that you do but edit themselves. Or they'll make up things to assassinate your character. To have the public eye looking at you sideways and viewing you a certain way. To destroy your credibility with the public. You see? Now, is it making sense? Is it setting in? You see what I'm saying? And again, you already know you're on borrowed time. Say as much as you can before your curtains get closed.
Who become too independent, too wealthy, or too vocal about racial injustice. The 30-year delay wasn't accidental. It ensured the allegations would surface past the statute of limitations, making them impossible to prove or disprove legally while maximizing reputational damage. The pattern is always the same. Michael Jackson died while planning the comeback that would have given him unprecedented control over his music and legacy. Prince died just as he was fighting to regain ownership of his masters. Whitney Houston died at the height of renewed public interest in her story of industry abuse. And now, Malcolm Jamal Warner, a figure so beloved he was immune to typical character assassination.
Now does it make sense? Now does it click? So when you go over each of their deaths, right? Michael Jackson wanted ownership, his catalog, his music. He was at war with Sony. Got to close his curtain. Prince written the blueprint of how to do things as an independent artist without the help of a record label. He was grandfathered into the industry. He spoke out, got to close his curtains. Whitney Houston wanted her masters. Spoke out, got to close her curtains. Bill Cosby wanted to own NBC. They said, nah, we ain't letting no nigga own NBC. Okay, you not listening. So we're going to close one of yours' curtains. Hoping you get the message. Okay, you're not getting the message. You're trying it again. Now we're going to assassinate your character. That's why he had to do jail time. Let's keep it going. R. Kelly wanted his masters. We got to shut R. Kelly up. So let's bring his past and use it against him, assassinate his character. Look where R. Kelly is now. But the public eye, we're going to keep putting this thing out there. Public eye's going to believe it. And the public eye believed it and ran 8 miles with it. So we really have to pay attention when we talk about assassinating one's character. What you think they're trying to do to Diddy right now? Well, they already done it. That's why he's sitting there quiet. Individuals are starting to see that now. Now they're starting to read the room. When you speak against the industry, number one, when you don't do what they tell you to do, we're going to rattle some cages to get you back in line. Because your black ass going to do what we tell you to do. And this is how they're thinking. Look at the sports industry. Need I say more? Pure gold.
Dies in a Costa Rica drowning accident, just as he was becoming most vocal about systematic psychological warfare against Black Americans. But Eddie saw this coming. He's been documenting this pattern for years, warning that the machine always has a final solution when reputation destruction fails.
You're not going to die clean.
I mean, everything that Bill Cosby has built up, the decades of work that he stood behind.
The man has, single-handedly, sent a bunch of brothers and sisters to college.
Malcolm Jamal Warner was building something too dangerous to ignore. His podcast, Not All Hood, challenged every stereotype the industry profits from. His Instagram poetry exposed the psychological programming Eddie had been warning about. His interviews connected entertainment industry racism to broader patterns of systematic oppression. Most dangerously, he was doing it with the credibility of Theo Huxtable. You can't destroy America's favorite TV son with typical smear campaigns. You can't isolate someone with his resume and connections. When character assassination won't work, when professional blacklisting fails, the machine moves to its final phase. 3 days after Malcolm Jamal Warner's body was pulled from Costa Rican waters, Eddie Griffin posted the tribute that confirmed every conspiracy theorist's worst fears. But it wasn't what he said. It was how he said it. My heart is heavy today. For what the world lost was a father, a son, a poet, a musician, an actor, a teacher, a writer, a director, a friend, a warrior that I had the pleasure of going to war with, against the Hollywood machine and sometimes with each other, because that's what brothers do. But the love was and is always there. Every word was military terminology.
Yeah. And subliminal. All you have to do is read between the lines and paraphrase. Eddie Griffin was in the military. He was in the Air Force. We speak in codes. I work law enforcement. I understand codes. But I also come from the streets. So I understand street code too. This wasn't no accident. What they want you to think about, what they want you to know, that this was an accident. Nah. So we're going to continue to go on.
Malcolm wasn't an entertainer. He was a warrior. They didn't work together. They went to war. Hollywood wasn't their workplace. It was the Hollywood machine, the same term activists use for systematic oppression. This wasn't grief. This was confirmation. Eddie was telling everyone who understands the code that Malcolm died fighting the same battle Eddie had been documenting for decades. The timing of Eddie's response was crucial. Most celebrity deaths get generic condolences that take hours or days to craft with publicists. Eddie's tribute went up immediately, raw and unfiltered, like someone who had been expecting this call for years.
Just like the tribute I did. When I got wind of it, I immediately did a tribute. Those that know, and I'll say this again, those that know me know I do bodyguard for celebrities. I crossed paths with Malcolm Jamal Warner at an award show. I was with a client. He looked at me, okay, said, I know who you are. And I looked at him and I said, I know who you are. And we laughed. It was the best 25 minutes ever of conversation. But when you come across good people, they don't make good people like they used to. It's rare nowadays, especially in this generation. But when you do come across someone that is good, man, it's a blessing just to be in their presence. Man, it's a blessing just to break bread with them. Man, it's a blessing just to sit and listen. The various of things that we all take for granted.
Malcolm had stopped picking his battles strategically. In his final months, he was fighting on all fronts, challenging systematic programming through his podcast, exposing psychological warfare through his Instagram poetry, connecting entertainment industry corruption to broader patterns of racial oppression.
An artist, to be a conscious artist of color, you're constantly having to pick your battles. And, at some point you have to, really decide what your boundaries are. What are the things that you undoubtedly stand for.
Malcolm had crossed the line from managed resistance to dangerous truth-telling. and Eddie Griffin's tribute confirmed that the machine responded exactly as Eddie had predicted for years. To understand Malcolm Jamal Warner's final transformation, you need to know about Michelle Thomas, the woman whose death in 1998 shaped every decision he made for the next 27 years. Michelle wasn't just another Hollywood romance. She was Malcolm's co-star, his moral anchor, and ultimately, his guide from beyond the grave. Michelle Thomas played Justine Phillips on The Cosby Show, Theo's sweet, intelligent girlfriend who represented everything positive about young black love on television. But behind the cameras, Michelle and Malcolm's real-life relationship became something deeper and more transformative than anything their characters experienced on screen. Michelle Thomas was born in Boston to Caribbean immigrant parents who instilled in her an unshakable moral foundation. She entered Hollywood with her values intact and refused to let the industry corrupt her spirit. While other young actresses were being pressured into degrading roles or exploitative situations, Michelle maintained her dignity. She chose projects carefully, spoke thoughtfully about representation.
If you go back, let's go back. Let me take you back and give you some history. Bernie Mac show. I believe her name is Valletta Smith, if I'm pronouncing it right. She played Bernie Mac's wife on the Bernie Mac show. She once gave an interview and she shared how the industry wanted her to conform, wanted her to do certain things, and she said no. Respectfully, she said no. Right then and there, she got blacklisted. A lot of roles, didn't come by her desk, paraphrasing. But she also said that there was a sign of relief because she enjoys doing independent film. It's not like she's hurting for anything. But she said, I'm not going to compromise myself. Oh, they wanted her. But that's not the type of individual that she is. That's not how she wanted to be looked at with her hard work. Okay.
And never compromised her principles for fame or money. Malcolm fell in love not just with Michelle's beauty, but with her integrity. In an industry designed to break down young black talent, Michelle represented something rare, someone who could navigate Hollywood without losing herself. Their 5-year relationship became Malcolm's education in maintaining authenticity while building a career. When cancer struck Michelle at just 28 years old, Malcolm watched the love of his life fight with the same moral clarity she had brought to everything else. Even facing death, Michelle made what she called the highest choice, refusing to let fear or bitterness consume her final months. Malcolm was there when she took her last breath. Michelle's mother revealed that he literally climbed into the hospital bed to hold Michelle as she died. This wasn't celebrity grief. This was a man losing the person who had kept his soul intact in an industry designed to destroy it. For 27 years after Michelle's death, Malcolm used her memory as his moral GPS. Every career decision, every public statement, every moment of temptation was filtered through one question. What would Michelle have done? This wasn't just romantic nostalgia. It was a survival strategy in an industry that systematically corrupts black talent. But something changed in Malcolm's final year. The man who had spent decades carefully balancing Michelle's moral guidance with Hollywood pragmatism suddenly stopped being diplomatic. His final Instagram posts about being tired of running for shade represented Malcolm finally embracing the kind of uncompromising truth-telling that
That's when you come to the end. That's when you accept what is. Once you begin to accept what is, it's like, you know what? Damn that. I'm not going to let you control me anymore. I'm not going to be controlled by the industry. Fuck y'all. I'm done. I'm leaving. I want out. It doesn't serve me anymore. That's where he was at. And every other individual, before and after, has came to that same exact place. It's time to come out of all of that. Look at what I've done. You follow me? Look. You have so many individuals that are so quick to sell their soul to the things of this world. The newest thing comes out, the newest fad come out. Oh, you quick to be a part of it. You quick to do whatever, whenever, however, just to be a part of it. That whole T app, that was presented. And look how many women rushed to that T app, rushed to post and say certain things about men, even go as far as spreading lies to get attention. Now look, there's been a data breach. Somebody hacked it. All that information. You see how it comes back full circle? You see how karma comes back on you? Spreading lies and exposing men for doing things, even things that men did not do. You lied on men. Individuals have already been unalived since that app has been out, and those been on the app, been on that damn app. Who does that? But again, how folk are so quick to sell their soul to the things of this world. Okay.
That Michelle would have been proudest of. He stopped managing his resistance and started speaking with the moral clarity that had made Michelle Thomas too pure for Hollywood to corrupt, and ultimately too dangerous for the machine to let him live. He had made the highest choice Michelle would have been proud of, speaking truth regardless of consequences. But Eddie Griffin knew the price of that choice. His tribute wasn't just mourning a friend, it was documenting the execution of a warrior who refused to surrender in a war most people don't know exists. The conspiracy theorists who immediately questioned Malcolm's drowning aren't paranoid. They're pattern recognition experts who understand that in an industry where Diddy faces federal charges for decades of systematic abuse, where Jeffrey Epstein connections run deep through entertainment circles, where corruption is finally being exposed at the highest levels, the death of a credible witness is never really accidental. Malcolm Jamal Warner didn't die.
A thing. Being a conspiracy theorist, I will say this. I enjoy being a conspiracy theorist because if I don't know something, I'm going to research it. If I hear something, I'm going to research it. I'm going to sit back and I'm going to research that thing until I get clarity. You see? And those that are conspiracy theorists, they come with more truth They come with more facts. They come with more receipts than the news media. Let that marinate.
In a swimming accident. He was eliminated because he had become too dangerous to the machine he and Eddie had been fighting their entire careers. His final Instagram poetry about psychological warfare, his podcast challenging racial stereotypes, his interviews connecting entertainment racism to broader systematic oppression.
And when you do that, they got to silence the lamb. They got to silence the lamb. Let's see what Regina King has to say.
It wasn't anything dramatic, just a check-in. Malcolm reportedly sent a voice message to Regina, congratulating her on her recent directorial success and expressing how proud he was of her resilience over the years. Regina, touched by the unexpected message, responded with warmth. One insider shared that she told Malcolm she had been thinking about him a lot lately and that some part of her still felt connected to him. That message, now etched into digital history, would be the last time she heard his voice. When the news of his death broke, Regina was filming an independent project in New Mexico. According to eyewitnesses, she was in the middle of a scene when her phone rang, and she collapsed after reading the message. Her team quickly cleared the set, and filming was suspended for the day. Later that evening, Regina reportedly broke down while speaking to a close friend, saying, "I never got to tell him thank you. Not really. He always showed up for me in ways no one else did." The emotional impact was overwhelming. Though they had never officially rekindled their romance, the emotional thread between them had never fully snapped. And now, knowing that thread would never find its closure, Regina was left with a silence that screamed louder than any goodbye.
A scream. A silent scream that will sound loud. That I can't even play back what she said. But I'm going to tell you something. When you scream in silence, man, or when the Holy Spirit has you silent, but you screaming inside, you crying inside, you're broken inside, but you can't release it because it has you silent. It has you still. It's almost like you have that shocked look. And that's the only facial expression that you can give. They can only be allowed to be seen. Nothing else.
Malcolm's family later reached out to Regina personally. They told her that Malcolm always considered her his great what if, a woman he never stopped loving, even from a distance. The hidden details of his death and Regina's private tribute. The initial news reports stated Malcolm Jamal Warner had died by accidental drowning while on a wellness retreat near Big Sur, California. At first glance, it seemed like a tragic accident, one of those freak events no one could predict. But as the dust settled, whispers of deeper truths began to surface. Multiple retreat attendees came forward anonymously, revealing that Malcolm had been acting unusually withdrawn during his final 2 days.
That means he knew. I don't know when they gonna come for me, but they coming. I'll give it to you again. I know they're gonna come for me. I don't know when. See, that's that look, that's that feeling you feel when you know something's gonna happen, but you don't know when.
One person even noted he seemed like he was carrying the weight of something unfinished. Some claimed he'd been journaling heavily, while others said he would sit alone by the water for hours, lost in thought, not engaging much. The night before his body was found, Malcolm had reportedly skipped the group bonfire and instead walked alone along the cliffside trails, which were known to be dangerous after sunset. There were no signs of foul play. His body showed no trauma beyond drowning.
Listen to what she said. I'm going to back it up. Listen to what she said.
Bonfire and instead walked alone along the cliffside trails, which were known to be dangerous after sunset. Instead, the night before his body was found, Malcolm had reportedly skipped the group bonfire and instead walked alone along the cliffside trails.
Why was he walking alone? Why did he skip the bonfire to go walk alone? Did he get a call? A phone call? Did he get a text message? Was somebody else there? Was a handler there? A lot of these individuals have handlers. These are the things we got to pay attention to.
Which were known to be dangerous after sunset. There were no signs of foul play. His body showed no trauma beyond drowning. But a handwritten note was found tucked inside a sealed envelope in his cabin. Though the contents were not publicly released, a source close to the investigation revealed the letter contained a reflection on regret, missed opportunities, and forgiveness. And shockingly, one paragraph was said to be addressed directly to Regina King. The letter allegedly read, "To the one I let get away, not because I didn't love you, but because I didn't love myself enough to believe I was worthy. If you're reading this, please know, I always saw your light." When Regina was informed of this private letter, she declined to make a public statement. Instead, she flew in secret to Big Sur days later, accompanied only by her personal assistant and spiritual advisor. According to a staff member at the retreat center, Regina spent nearly 3 hours alone at the exact spot Malcolm was last seen alive. She placed a small white bouquet at the edge of the trail, lit a single candle, and remained in quiet reflection until sunset. No cameras, no press, just pain, memory, and closure. Later, Regina shared a single post on her Instagram stories, one that vanished in 24 hours. It was a black screen with the words, "You were never just a chapter. You were the book I was scared to finish reading." Hollywood reacts, a legacy rewritten. As the news of Malcolm Jamal Warner's sudden and tragic death rippled through the entertainment industry, tributes began pouring in from every corner of Hollywood.
I mean, this was a blow. This was a blow. And with that being said, yes, we have to appreciate life. Yes, we have to make better choices and decisions. And yes, you never know when your name is going to be called. Some individuals know that their time is up. Some individuals don't know that their time is up. He knew his time was up. He knew what has to happen. He just didn't know when, he didn't know how, but he knew it was going to happen. Just like with Hulk Hogan. Because Hulk Hogan started speaking out. Quiet as kept. Hulk Hogan gave his life to the Most High and got baptized. That right there explains it all. In spite of what some might say about Hulk Hogan, oh, he's a racist, he this and he's that, I'm going to tell you something. There was a lot of good in Hulk Hogan. A lot of good. And we're not going to sit up there and just start bringing up bad stuff. No. And look, how many times black people speak out negative against other blacks? Let's be real about it. This ain't nothing new. Man had a good heart. Hulk Hogan had a good heart. Hulk Hogan meant well. Hulk Hogan was a hero to many. And he loved the kids. There's many of y'all that got dirts in y'all closets. There's many of y'all that got secrets. They got midnight secrets. It's not up to you to be the judge or the jury. Hulk Hogan was a good man. And he will be missed as well.
But these weren't just your standard publicist-approved condolences. No, these were deeply emotional, personal reflections that painted a picture of a man whose influence went far beyond the screen. Bill Cosby, despite years of controversy and legal woes, issued a rare public statement from his spokesperson. It read, "I raised him as Theo, but Malcolm raised himself as a man. He was one of the few lights left from our time. This world lost more than an actor. It lost a son." Known as Rudy, posted a touching photo of the two on Instagram with the caption, "The laughter was real. So was the love. I still can't believe you're gone, Theo." But it was Felicia Rashad, the woman who played his TV mom Claire Huxtable, who delivered the most poetic tribute during a CBS morning show appearance. Holding back tears, she said, "He was still writing his story, and now the world is left to read the unfinished pages. We will not let his voice fade quietly." A private memorial was held at Warner's home in Los Angeles, attended by a mix of former co-stars, close family friends, and even some music industry figures like Common, Jill Scott, and Lenny Kravitz, all of whom he had previously collaborated with on various creative projects. Director Ava DuVernay tweeted, "Malcolm wasn't just a symbol of Black boy joy on The Cosby Show. He became a quiet force behind the scenes, uplifting narratives that mattered. He had plans, and now we carry them forward." Hollywood's outpouring of grief wasn't just performative, it was reflective. People started revisiting his past projects with renewed respect, realizing that Malcolm had been doing the real work, championing Black stories, supporting indie films, and mentoring young actors without seeking credit.
When it comes to our Black men and women, our talented Black men and women, I'm all for Black success. I'm all for talented individuals receiving knowledge and receiving the tools that they need to prosper and take them to the next level. I love to see our Black entrepreneurs grow and shine. I love to see the Black men and women shine. I love to see them doing just blossoming, blooming with their creative minds and operate in their authenticity. Like I really know how to pronounce that word right. Being authentic and operate in that. I love to see my Black men and women doing this, not doing this. Embracing each other, coming together. We as Blacks, we may fight amongst each other, but when it comes down to standing in truth and for what is right, we're gonna blow this bitch down and we're gonna light it up and we're gonna make sure that shit stay lit. When it really counts.
What many didn't know was that in the past 5 years, Malcolm had been developing a new film, one that was meant to tell the untold story of forgotten jazz legends. The project, reportedly titled Midnight Brass, was still in its early stages, but was shaping up to be a passion project unlike anything he had done before. After his passing, it was announced that the production company handling Midnight Brass would be moving forward with the film as a posthumous tribute, with plans to dedicate it to his legacy. A final goodbye to Malcolm Jamal Warner. As the curtain falls on a life that meant so much to so many, we are left with a hollow silence, an emptiness where once stood laughter, talent, brilliance, and purpose. Malcolm Jamal Warner wasn't just Theo Huxtable. He was a son, a brother, a mentor, a poet, a musician, a father, and a beacon of Black excellence that remained unshaken through decades of industry change and personal evolution. His passing has stunned the world, not just because of its suddenness, but because of how deeply rooted he was in the lives of millions who grew up watching him. We didn't just lose a character, we lost a real person who brought authenticity, compassion, and soulful energy into every room he walked into, on screen and off.
And he will be missed. I want to thank each and every one of you for tapping in tonight on this live broadcast, on this live stream. And it was placed upon my spirit, my soul to do this. And my prayer is that this video goes viral. So please share this video. Share it with your family, share it with your friends, and take a moment to reflect, even on your own life. Take a moment to reflect. Are you where you need to be? Or is there room in your life so that you can get to where you need to go? So you can get to where you need to be. Are you living life or are you just existing? What are you doing with your time? Are you wasting time or using time? Please let me know in the comments. Share your comments. I want to know, what was some of your Theo moments? What were some of your Cosby Show moments of Theo? Please share in the comments. Until then, it's your boy Big Truck, and I'm gone.